Hello and welcome to my first project of the front-end fundamentals under the topic more HTML tags. So in here I have listed the HTML tags as my online resources. We have here, as you can see, the first one is way2tutorial.com, HTML tag index.php as the first resource. And the second one is from w3schools.com, tags, tag HTML ASP. So this is HTML page, and I have used a sort of some CSS as well. I'll show you in the second tab. So I have some CSS, a few CSS from here. And going back to our HTML page. So in HTML we start with the doc type HTML, and this will actually determine which type of programming language we are using. So it's HTML. So we have the opening HTML here, and below that is the head. As you can see, I have highlighted here the head tags. Sorry, that should be from here to here. Okay, this is the head. And as you notice, we have here the meta car set UTF-8. This is actually this tag here will tell our browser to use the UTF-8 character encoding, which is a method of converting type characters into machine readable code. Next would be this meta name description and content, where it specifies one of the software packages used to generate the document. The third meta here is about the keywords, and the meta keywords tag is one of the several meta tags that you can insert into your web pages to provide search engines with information about your pages that isn't visible on the page itself. So we have the keywords there. And the next meta tag is the author. This is actually giving credit to the person that made this website or this web page. So it's actually created by Learning Clips and Diaries. The next meta here is the name viewport. So the viewport meta tag tells the browser that the width of the screen should be considered full width of the page. That's why we have this tag here. And inside the head tag we have the title tag, and since this is the first project, so I'll just title it project number 1. And the link here refers to the CSS. This is actually supposedly not covered in this project. However, I found it interesting when I searched from these online resources here. I found out that we could actually use CSS to give an interesting look into our page. So this one here, the link rel type href, is actually for the CSS. This will link to the CSS file. So rel here is actually relationship, so it's a style sheet, and the type is actually just plain text or CSS text. And the reference is actually, this is the folder that I created inside my documents folder, or any folder that you created. And project 1 is the file name of the CSS, which is referred to this file here. So if I open this tab here, it actually has CSS in it, which is part or designed to be able to have interesting look of what's in here, this code here. So going back to the link for the CSS, the project 1 CSS, it's actually this tab here. Okay, so I have here some list of CSS, and I'm going to discuss that one later. I'll just show you first where the CSS part, and this is actually an external CSS. Okay, so external means it's not part of the HTML tag. It's an outside or an extra file or outside source aside from the HTML file. So it's external CSS, this one here. Alright, so I closed the head tag. Since this is the head tag, we have usually in HTML we have like the concept of a container. So the head opening and the closing head tag. So this is one container in our HTML, and inside those containers are the meta, the title, and the link to my CSS. So after the head, we have the body container. So we have to open the body tag, and I started with a header. This will actually refer to the title of our the web page. So let me just show you how the web page looks like. It's actually okay, this is the web page that I created. So we have here this part here is the title or the header or heading 1. So this is from the book by Dr. Jared Coney Horvath. It's actually titled Stop Talking and Start Influencing. So this title here is actually referred to this one here. So I just use H1 there, and that's the largest heading tag, H1, and below that H1 is the subtitle, H2 here, which is the 12 insights from brain science to make your message stick, H2, and that subtitle refers to this one here. And the color is actually, you notice that there's some color there. If it's just plain HTML, there's no background color. The text is just plain black and white. So I actually used CSS here. So let me open the CSS tab. Alright, so the blue color there is actually this one here, H2. Okay, as you notice, there's this color, and this is actually hexadecimal code, and this CSS here will be discussed in detail in the next chapters, but I'm just showing you how the CSS is formed here. So this is, we actually have a selector. Okay, this is the selector, H1, H2, H3, ULP, table, those are selectors. We also have a property, which is the color, the font size, font weight, and the value, which is this part here. Okay, this part are the values, and every value ends with a semicolon before you can add another property. So we have a selector, then opening curly brackets, we have a property, which is the color, and the value, which is this hexadecimal code. So this color here matches with this one here. So that's actually this is the hexadecimal color of that CSS. So it looks like somewhat black, or in between gray and black, or something like dark blue. So that's that's taken care of by our CSS. This one here. Of course, the size, yeah, it's quite large enough. If we just put some H1 there, it would be a little bit smaller, but we can actually resize it with this number here. So going back to our HTML page, so I have entered here H3, and EM means emphasis, and that will actually give it like an italic, it looks like italic word. So that's this one here. And looking at our web page, this one here, this is italic. This is the function of the EM code in HTML. So as you notice, I also have an animated text here going left and right. So page designed by Learning Clips and Diaries. That's actually that's the marquee tag in HTML. So this is actually the inline style here is actually part of the CSS, but I did not put it in the external page, since we can actually also place an CSS inside of the HTML. So this is an inline style, this part here. So the marquee is the one that's moving left and right, or animated left and right here. And after that, I used the div tag, okay, div or division, or another container for this text here. Visit YouTube channel, and that actually looks in here, this one. So if I click on this, it's actually a link. Okay, this is a link, and that link can be seen with this link here. This one. It's actually a channel in my YouTube. So if we try to click on that, right, open in a new tab, that will actually direct you to my YouTube channel, and there you go. So we can actually add some links in our HTML, and that's being in charge. We just close this one. Okay, that's actually taken care of by this href here, which is a reference to my YouTube channel. So that's just one div part. After that, I actually place an image. So we have an image here, and the source from this link. Okay, and that's actually this particular link here is actually this image, this one, Learning Clips and Diaries, YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. That's the image being referred to this link here. This one, the source, or the image source, that's this link. So in the next, below the image, you can actually see, let's go to the web page. You can see this one here, online resources, visit way to tutorial here, visit W3 schools here. So this part is actually taken care of by this another div tag here. Okay, as you can see, we have, this is in the external CSS, the P2 class paragraph 2. It's actually taken care of in the external CSS paragraph 2, this one here. So I set up with an external CSS there, and the result actually looks like this one here. So this is some color and some CSS part. In this particular div tag, we have, you can see here the link, the links for way to tutorial as well as W3 schools. And I'm gonna close the header here inside of the body tag. That's the header container, so that's end of the header. And then inside of the body tag again, I have the main tag, which is now this is where we can see the important information of this page, which is actually in table. I used a table format here. Okay, this one. This is now the summary of the book. This is actually a table. So this one, summary of the book, 12 insights from brain science to make your message stick. And have this one here. So in this table, there's actually 12 chapters of the book. So I summarized chapters 1 to 12. And in the Sublime text, that's actually being in charge with this table here. Okay, so I align it center. We have the caption, the summary of the book. We have the T-head, which is the T-head tag is used to group header content in an HTML table, and the TD element is found in an HTML table with a body tag. So inside of the T-head we have TR and TD. So we have these tags here, and then for chapter 1 I used there the TD. Here are some CSS here again. Class left column, I use some CSS there, which you can see it from here. Yeah, this one is the CSS of that tag. So we have some, I also created some CSS for the T-head, the TD, the T-foot, and some TD is there. The table, there's also some CSS there. There's some paragraph and some containers. So going back to our table, we have chapter 1 here. Okay, this chapter 1 is actually a teddy in the class left column in my CSS, and chapter 1 actually can be seen in this part here of the page. Okay, chapter 1 up to chapter 12 is 1 to 12. Chapters 1 to 12 is actually a teddy inside the table, T body part. So there's another teddy tag, which is in charge for this part here, this one. So this is actually another column, and that's being shown from here in this tag. So just repeat the process 12 times and you will have 12 rows and 2 columns there using this particular T body tag. I have highlighted, and this is the closing of that particular body tag. So next I have there added the T-foot or the table footer, which is actually referred to this part here. As you can see, there's only one teddy tag, and that's being shown in this part here. This one. Highlighted. I have highlighted it. And that's the closing of the T-foot as well as the closing of the table as well. So the BR here means placing a break line, and that's the end of the table. And I have another div tag here, and you can notice there's an HR. So the HR actually are the lines that you can see. This part here, this one I have crossed with my mouse. That's the function of the HR tag. And then below that, just click the image below to watch the blog of this page, and it's actually an animated part. So that's the function of the marquee tag again here. So that's inside the div tag. And so as we can see in our page, in my page, you have that one there. So it's actually just, this image actually has a link. So if you click this image, it will direct you to the link, which is, I set it from my YouTube link again. It's this one here. And then in the next content, I have, that's actually the field is reserved for videos. So this div tag here is for the video, and you can actually see it in this part. So this is just showing you that we can actually add a video in our page, but there's no video in this content. As you can see, 0, 0, 0. So I just place another link below. This is actually a link that will direct to my YouTube channel, and that's part here, that field is reserved for the video. So that's this part here. And the next content are reserved for audio content. So this part here is for the audio, and we can see it in the page like this one. So click on the play button to play the sound. Let's try to play.
Hello.
Yeah, you can say that, hear that hello voice there.
Hello.
Alright, that's part of the audio field is selected here. So that's actually an MP3 file inside of my audio. The source is from my audio folder. And the next content are for passwords. These are actually the function of forms. As you can see, yeah, I just used another div tag there. It's actually a form. So in the page, you will see this one here, enter password. So you can actually type it there. You can submit that password, and it will be directed to a link where you can access some information from that password. And going back to the page, that's this part here. You can also actually create a comment. So that's actually, oh, by the way, for the input type or the input tag, that's actually this one here. As you can see, I have written here input type submit, and you can see it from this part here. So after you type the password, you can click the submit button. And we also have comments. So that's being taken care of with the text area tag. And as we can see, enter comments here. So you can write your comments here. Type comments. You can also resize, okay, according to how you wanted it to fit in your page. And that's for the comments section. The next section is for the drop-down list, which is now a form tag. As you can see, this is the form, and there's another input tag here. Okay, this is the closing of that form inside of the div tag. And let's see that one in my page. So there, you can actually choose a program. So I have here HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python. So once you select one of that, you can submit it, and that's been taken care of with this div tag here. So it's actually, the HTML is an option here. The option tag, we have CSS, another option which is JavaScript, another option which is Python. Then we have the input tag to submit that selection. So that's part of the drop-down list. And the next element is the base element. So the HTML base element specifies the base URL to use for all relative URLs in a document. So that's being taken, you can see it from the page. This one here, this is the base element. And another element is the iframe. So this field is reserved for the iframe element. So iframe is a frame within a frame. So it is a component of an HTML element that allows you to embed documents. So these are the iframe tag here. As you can see, there's some links on that iframe, and that's actually this one here. So it's actually a map. You can actually drag. Okay, that's the iframe element. You can see from here. You can also zoom in, zoom out, and that's one good thing with iframe. So that's the end of the main content. After that, I added some footer, which is this page is created by Learning Clips and Diaries. You can visit the YouTube channel here, and there's another link that you can click again. So it's actually this one here. So page created by Learning Clips and Diaries with a YouTube channel link here. And I also showed here the book cover design, so you will have an idea on how the book looks like. Okay, this is the cover page of that book. That's being taken care of with another div tag here with some p and some image source. It's actually just an image, and it's the book cover. And I actually added there a secret message, and the message goes this way: creativity is just connecting things, by Steve Jobs. So don't forget, you need to close the body tag as well as the HTML tag. Those are the closing tags for the HTML. Alright, so I would like to show you another tab in my Sublime. If we actually remove this these are actually comments. Okay, the one that's it looks like something gray. And if we remove these comments, actually, as you can see, there's just a lot of text in there. So this is, I remove that, and I have another tab here. So this is now how the HTML page looks like without those comments. So from doc type, we have the head part, we have the body tag, the array down here, up to some here. And this is the table part. This is the table part. So this is how the HTML code looks like without those comments. So far, this is now the web page that I have created. This is the first project of Frontend Fundamentals, and I hope you have learned something. I wish you all the best. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe Learning Clips and Diaries.